been there before.
What y'all know about growing up in Brick City and shit pretty? Hit a lick, celebrate just to keep busy. Kids dying, mama's crying, the devil's busy. Talk shit, get shot and end up missing.
What's going on, guys? This is Straight to the Point podcast, and it is your boy Young Cupid,
and it's Kane back up in this bitch.
And we are going to be talking about whether, you know, a lot of people have been asking us whether you need school or whether we think you need school to be successful, and like just in general, I guess. And like my personal opinion is huge no. Like I truly, no one will ever convince me that you need school to like be happy to make money. Like I feel like, I don't know. How do you feel?
I agree with that. I think it all depends on what you want to do. Obviously, if you want to become a motherfucking doctor, you don't need school.
Yeah, you definitely need school for that shit.
But if you got a passion for, you know, being a mechanic, you like working on cars and shit, you just go to your vocational school and that's it. Like, I guess it's kind of an education, but it's not a degree like everyone tells you in this world to go get. Like, we do live in a society that demands a degree, but if you have something else you want to pursue besides that, you should go pursue what the fuck you want to do.
Yeah, no, I like... People go to school, I think, to make money, but I just keep, like... I've definitely said it before on one of our episodes that, like, you just need... Money isn't happiness. It really isn't, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, you could wake up, have $1 million a day, you know? Or, like, I'm saying you make $1 million a year or whatever, but when you go to work, you're just miserable. Like, what the fuck? Like, I hope somebody... Like, people that go to school for things like accounting or, you know, just shit like that, like, I have nothing against it. Like, if that's really what you think of making you happy, like, do it. But I don't think... There's so many things you could do that, like, this, for example, you don't need school to talk. Yeah. And I'm confident this is going to blow up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't need school to do things that you like, to be successful. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like if you think you need school to be successful, that's not your measurement. That's someone else that's told you that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But that's just me. Like you said, if you want to be a doctor, you literally have to go to school to become a doctor. But I don't know. I think people are in school for the wrong reasons, to be honest with you.
Nah, I got you. Like, I guess unfortunately, some people out there, they kind of follow what people say like sheep. They don't have their mind of their own, and they just follow what the fucking crowd tells them. And that's why, you know, perhaps when they get older and shit like that, you got motherfuckers drinking that every weekend and shit because they ain't enjoying their life because they just simply follow what the fuck someone said instead of pursuing what's in their heart and shit like that. And that's kind of fucked up in a sense because you shouldn't be living your way like that. Like I said, one of my fears was to have an unfulfilled life. Like, your objective in life is just to do what the fuck you feel passionate about. Other than that, you ain't fucking living. And just doing what the fuck people tell you to do is not the way to live. Like, straight up facts. Like, do you, bro? Like, I don't know.
You know what's even crazy? The people who demand degrees are the people that don't have degrees. You know what I mean? A lot of these businesses are owned by, you know, a generation before us, but that's when school wasn't that demanding. Like, if you really look at all the people who own those businesses, I don't know if this is statistically right, but I'm highly, highly assuming that at least half of them don't have degrees. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and they're demanding something that they don't even have, you know?
Yeah, you really don't need a degree for business too anyways.
Like, if we weren't demanding a degree, like, so many people would be doing different things, you know? Mm-hmm. People, like, a lot of people, when they search for a college, for example, they look at what programs they have. Then they start Googling what makes more money. Then they start Googling what has easier course set. Mm-hmm. Then, you know what I mean? Like, I really don't think you need, like, school... I want to say, okay, school can give you a backup plan, but you shouldn't be that, and like, you should be confident enough that you're not going to need a plan B. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because I feel like if you love what you're doing and you're consistent with what you're doing, you know, and you just keep, like, practicing your craft, that you're not going to need that plan B. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, school, it can give you a tool. Like, for saying, people who want to become entrepreneurs, they have programs that are like that, and it can maybe teach you things that you can't find online, I guess, but I also think if you were to do enough research and branch out yourself, you know, be your own link, you know, like be your own link to people, you know, all that you would have like no problem learning, you know, what you think that you need school to learn for, you know?
Yeah. I guess like you said, like, all business, I guess, is like human connections and shit like that. It's, you know, just offering what people need, and you don't need to be a fucking doctorate or some shit to fucking pursue that and do that. You could people could easily figure that shit out. You look at what's going on in society and what people want, what people need and shit, and you just follow that. You don't need no crazy ass degree for that shit. But I think one thing that's unfortunate with like getting degrees and shit is that they don't pay you enough when you get that fucking degree. That kind of pisses me off. I don't know about you. Like, you work 4 years or 2 years to get this fucking degree, and you don't ever make that money back, really. It takes a very long time.
You're just paying it off for like 10, 15 years.
Exactly. And they only paying you like $12 an hour with that fucking degree or some shit. And busting your fucking ass as a manager or what the fuck you doing. Like, it's crazy how, like, in a way, society's kind of set up for you to fail. Like, you gotta be really fucking lucky to maybe break that $20,000 a year cap and shit like that. But that's just a long ass process. Like, it's very unfortunate how this shit's set up against you, I feel like. And unfortunately, people don't realize it sometimes. And you just, like, they just follow the system like sheep, like I said.
Yeah.
It's just fucking nuts.
Yeah, like, for everyone listening, like, I'm not against school. I really do think for some people school is helpful. Like I said, if you really, like, truly want, if what you want to go into truly requires a degree, then obviously you have to go. Like, if you're very passionate about teaching and you want to, you know, become a teacher or professor, you're going to need school, you know. It's just how it is. But if you want to...
That's not the only way of life.
Yeah, it's not. I just feel like I feel like a lot of people go to school so that when people ask them, oh, what are you doing? They can say, oh, I'm going to school. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm... Like, if you... Like, obviously no one wants to be in a classroom setting, but if you ask somebody what they're learning, are they, like, interested in? I promise you at least 80%, 70% are going to say no. You know? And I'm not talking... Obviously, you need, you know, general requirements. I'm talking about, like, your core classes. Like, if you're a psychology major, you're, like, psychology classes. I'm not talking about the math and writing and stuff. You know what I mean? Mm. Like, if you have to ask them, like, are you... I don't know. I really don't think you need school. There's so many things you can do in life that, like, don't involve school. You just have to become creative. I feel like so many... Like, I think school for many people... I'm not saying all people, but many people... is a safe route. It takes away it takes away their opportunity to take a risk, and that's what people I feel like are very scared of. To take a risk, to say like fuck school, and try to become an entrepreneur or something like that. You know.
I think it's like looked at as a safe route, but in reality, I feel like it isn't. Because like I said, all that paying off you gotta do, all that time and effort, like how much stress people go through because of fucking school. Yeah. They got no free time for themselves and shit like that anymore. They can't even work because of school, and if you can't work, how the fuck you paying your degree off and shit like that? That's why some fucking people out there, they literally start school and can't finish it because of how much that shit costs, and that's very unfortunate. Because the government will help them for whatever reason.
Yeah, I had to fucking leave
that.
Monmouth University. Yo, Monmouth, if you're listening to this shit, fuck you. Honestly, fuck you.
Like, it's crazy.
I my second year, I had to get kicked out because I had to drop out or kicked out. Same shit because I couldn't afford it. Like, what?
It's crazy how much college costs. Like, what the fuck are you niggas really offering that costs this fucking much? Like,
but to be honest, bro, getting kicked out of, like, Monmouth, I'll tell anybody that, like, that knows me, you know, that have ever heard me talk. Like, I was sad, but I think it's probably the best thing that's happened to me, getting kicked out from that school, because I was separated from people who I only really talked to because I went to Monmouth, you know. Mm-hmm. But now I'm, like, back home, and I feel like it helped me find myself, and, like, because when I went there, I switched to a communications major, like, but not communication in, like, this sense, not like radio and television, because there's different types. Okay. It was like communication between business. Okay. Like, I didn't want to fucking, like, I thought I wanted to do that, but no, the fuck, like, so I think, like, and I realized that between my processes of training, like, I go to school now, but, you know, I've told also many people, my reasoning for school is much different. I'm doing it more for my family. Like, if you truly ask me, want to be in school? No, I don't. But I study psychology and I like people. So, I mean, that's not going to be my plan. This is going to work out. But if I ever get, you know, retired, I'll do that. Yeah. You know what I mean? But
like, that's kind of your backup plan in the sense.
It's my backup plan for when I just don't feel like doing this anymore.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But school never taught me what I like. It taught me here are your options. Pick which one you think you'll like the most.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? There's a huge difference there.
That's why I feel like nowadays, like, you don't really need to figure out what the fuck you want to do when you graduate high school. Like, take maybe a semester or 2 semesters off and kind of figure out what the fuck you want to do. Perhaps go into a job field that you feel like, pertains to something you potentially want to do in the future. Like, if you do want to be a fucking doctor or some shit, maybe work at a pharmacy or some shit first and figure out if you even enjoy that aspect. And you could potentially pursue that path. Like, just take your time to find yourself, bro. That's really what it comes down to. Like, you don't want to be stuck making a decision you regret making, because then you're wasting all that time for what reason? And then you're going to be upset when, people around you start, doing things that are negative, maybe fucking going out and drinking every weekend because you don't enjoy what the fuck you do for a living. Like, take some time, figure out what the fuck you want to do, and then take them steps. There's no rush. What the fuck's going to happen if you take a year off to figure out what the fuck you want to do? Ain't shit gonna happen.
You know what it is though? A lot of people are also they're forced to go to school because a lot of people are first generation students, and a lot of those students have parents who were immigrants. They came here from another country, and they keep pushing that like school on their kids because it's a safe route. That's what I consider. It's a very safe route.
Yeah.
Because even if you don't get a job doing what you want to do, you get a job.
Yeah,
eventually. But like their standards are measured on what their parents have went through, which is, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I feel like if a lot of people, even artists, like they want to make music, and their parents, they're like, no, I want you to do better than I did. So they're like, go to school because they're scared of them not working. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like maybe for a little bit, everyone around you will not understand your process, but that's why it's your process. You don't need school. Like, school, the process I feel like that everyone's meant to have, a lot of people don't need school for. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's just what they've talked themselves into and let people convince them to. But like I said, I'm not anti-school. I'm anti-school if you're not doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
That's my main point. Like, I really, like, there's so many people, like, even a lot, like Gary Vee, he will tell you school is bullshit if it's not what you want to do. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
there's so many things. Like, I don't know. It's my personal opinion. We'll probably get some backlash about it. That's fine, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, of course. Like, the whole point of life is, you gotta take a risk sometime. Even if let's say you go for that teaching degree you want to fucking get. Just because you got that fucking teaching degree does not guarantee you a teaching job, because the state you live in may not have spots for you to work at. Same thing applies for if you want to be a fucking artist. Like, it's all about, like, what you're willing to do, the extra hard work you're willing to put in to get that shit. That's really what's going to make a difference, not the fact that you're just following this path. It don't mean you're guaranteed shit. That's just how life is. Yeah. It's all about what you do to fucking get that job. Do that. If you want to be an artist, go out there and figure out how to promote. Go there, how to fucking learn how to market, how to sell your shit, how to get it on all these platforms. Same thing with teaching. Like, it's more to it probably just than getting a degree, because, perhaps you gotta make a move to a different state to fucking get it. Like, I don't know. It's a lot more to the situation than just following these guidelines, I feel like. Because just if you follow these guidelines, it doesn't guarantee you shit, unfortunately. That's just how fucking life works.
But so many people that are pro degree, right? Like pro college or pro school, and you ask them who they look up to, like who, like a lot of people look up to actors, comedians, people in music.
Yeah.
A lot of them did not go to school, and it's like you're contradicting yourself, because you're saying, oh, you need school to be successful, but you're supporting someone who didn't go to school who's very successful. So I'm like, I feel like people don't think about it that way. You know what I mean? Like, most of people's idols are not people who went to school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just a reality. They're not, and that didn't make them bad. A lot of them come from the streets, poverty. Some came from, like, out of wealth, but they just didn't go to school. There's so many different, like, dynamics and cultures involved in the genre or the category that we name success. Like, a lot, like, I don't know. I feel like people really got to think about it. Like, it's just, school just takes away the risk factor, in my opinion. Like I said earlier, like, it just takes away the risk. It makes your opportunity to fail less. You know what I mean?
Like, taking a safe route, you ain't living. You're not.
Yeah. No one ever said they were happy not taking a risk.
Congrats, you fucking followed what the fuck society told you to do to a T. You really did nothing special. You did something that millions of motherfuckers already did.
Yeah.
But to be that one guy that went down a different route and, you know, maybe pursued acting or some shit, like, that's why you guys value them, because they're doing something special. They went outside the box and they fucking made it happen. And that's what makes it worth it, because I guarantee these actors and comedians, or at least for the most part, are enjoying what the fuck they're doing over what you're doing. Maybe. I don't want to be a fucking dickhead and say, you don't enjoy what the fuck you're doing. Maybe you actually do, but most of the time, you know, the actors are enjoying, and these rappers are enjoying, or singers, or whatever the fuck, because that's something they're passionate about. That's something they love to do. That's something they put all their heart into, and they finally make something out of it, and people actually enjoy it. If you're just a fucking cop on the streets, no one's enjoying what the fuck you're doing. They all hate you, bro. That's just the reality. Like, at least you got a job that pays good and shit, but do you really love going out on the streets and getting harassed every fucking day and being the dickhead that gives someone a ticket? Like, that sucks. Like, that's why I don't want to be a cop no more, even though I wanted to back in the days, because it's just way more stress than, you know, good shit that's gonna happen to you on the job. Like, so you just gotta do what the fuck you want, man. It's not you niggas overthink it and start thinking it can't be a reality because of what other people tell you. Stop listening to what the fuck other people are telling you, bro.
There's a huge reason that so many people change their majors in college, because they're not sure as to what they want to do, because they're choosing out of a list that's set for them. You know? That's literally why I think. That's when I look at college, is where I think of. It's a list. You choose what you think you're going to like best. And yeah, like, so many people are like, I'm good at writing. I'm going to study, you know, literature. I'm going to try to write. I'm going to try to get into something like communications involved with the news, you know, stuff like that. So you're writing. Or some people go with numbers, so they go to school for math. But, like, you can't focus on what you're good at all the time. I think, like, a lot of your weaknesses can easily become a strength. And that weakness you have, like, can be your happiness, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to say no one. Most people, when they write music, they're not good at first, but they love doing it. Yeah. You know what I mean? You don't have to be good at something to love doing it. You just keep doing it, then you get better.
Because being able to express yourself and fucking having something you created being put out there that people enjoy is just something amazing to see.
Yeah, like you're like everyone that walks around, like you're a number in a brand, you know? Because we're measured by wealth, you know? Like, you can Google someone's net worth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're measured by, like, in a number. We're a social security number. That's literally, to, like, the government. That's all we are. We're just a number, and we're like two sets of numbers: social security and net worth.
That's why, like, you know damn well the government ain't looking at you like you a human being. They just doing what the fuck they want to do, and that's it. Do you and shit, like, fuck fine what everyone tells you to fucking do, and the goal is to fulfill what the fuck you want. That's the whole point of life. Yeah. You got one of these motherfucking lives, what the fuck you gonna do with it? I follow what the fuck Joe Blow's saying, or fucking do you?
Like,
that's what the fuck it comes down to.
If you're pressured to go to school just because all your friends or whatever, like, be different for a little bit. Like, they don't have to understand what you're doing. No one has to except you, you know? Like, if you if you can truly find who you want to be, and you understand that you don't need school, and you understand that it's not going to be everyone else's picture of what they wanted you to do, and you just do it, you know, it'll come. You know, no one, like, I know it sounds so repetitive of what we're saying, but, like, it's just, no, like, you really just don't need school. And people are asking me, like, how much do you need to, like, someone asked me, how much do you think you should make to live to live on your own? Mm-hmm. Like, you make as much as whatever lifestyle you want, you make enough to support that lifestyle.
Yeah, basically.
But
if you want to live luxurious, then do what the fuck you gotta do.
We like to feel comfortable, so that's why so many people follow trends. College is a trend. Like, when you look at it, it's a trend. Mm-hmm. It's not. It's become so normal. So I that's truly why I think like if we were a generation or 2 generations younger, we had the same personalities, but like the same situation except we weren't told to go to school. Like you would see so many people living their lives so much differently, you know?
Yeah.
So many people have based their how important they are and stuff like that on some on numbers, and those numbers being like test scores and like salary, how much they're making, and you can't measure. If you're measuring yourself based on those numbers, you're losing already.
Yeah.
And you're losing based on a system that has taught you the system has failed you. If you think like that, the system has failed you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You come out of college in debt, that's fine. Unless you can be in debt, but if you're happy, cool. But if you're in debt and like not happy, like what did you do? Like think about that. You know what I mean? You went to school for something. Now you're in debt. Now you're working. Now you're pissed off because you're in debt. But now you have to work that job because that's what you took the degree for. And because of that degree, you're scared to not use it. So now you don't do what you want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you keep getting stuck.
It's just a list on list. Just because, like I said, I'm not anti-school. I'm just anti-school if you're not doing what you want to do. Like people who go to even like the military, a lot of them, I know you can study. I know you can, I guess, get a degree on the base that you stay at or something like that. There's schools on the wherever you're deployed at.
You go to school wherever you want.
But like, I don't know if that was as available as, I don't really know much about that, but I'm sure a lot of people that are in the military, they didn't go to school, but they're praised. But now you're praising them, but they didn't go to school, but you're demeaning, or I guess that's, yeah, whatever. You're putting someone else down because they didn't go to school. And now it just doesn't make sense. You know?
Yeah.
I just, there's so much contradiction when it comes to the topic of school and whether you need it. There's going to be people who think you do, there's going to be people who think you don't, and people like me who are in the middle. Like, I think you do if you need it, if you truly want to, but if you don't, then no, you don't. I think it all becomes just a fear of risk.
Yeah, that's probably what it comes down to.
But you know what it is though too? A lot of people when they're picking something, they just Google the salary. That's all. That when I was picking majors, that's what I was doing. Cause that's what I was taught. Was what matters most. How much money you're gonna make after getting out of school.
Yeah.
But a lot of those are, one, they're not really statistically correct. Like, there's always a couple outliers that raise the number or lower the number that, you know what I mean?
And also there's more to this, like, to the job than that. Like, the steps you take to actually, you know, have to study to get that degree, how much that tuition costs, the books cost, like, is it really worth it in the long run for all that money you better spend to fucking get that degree?
The one thing I can praise school for is I think it does teach you how to multitask.
Yeah.
And deal with a bunch of deadlines at once. That is one good thing I think that will come from school, because no matter what you do, even if it's what you love, you're going to have deadlines. Like, for example, you know, we prepared, but if we didn't, we'd have a deadline to release this podcast every week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, there's like good things that come out of school. You know, responsibility. If you dorm, you get to somewhat be on your own for a little bit. Even though most of you guys get fucking care packages from your parents on the weekends. Like, I think that's what? Who gets a fucking care package? And if you're listening and you get a care package, I'm sorry, but I think that's just so stupid. In that
you got a 4 kill streak.
Yeah, like you get a fucking basket that has some chocolate and some like envelope that says you're okay. Like, motherfucker, you signed up for this. Deal with whatever comes with it. You know what I mean? And like, I think college is also good for people who have been really, really babied. Like, really, really, because one, like, not every college, but some, like, I don't even want to say they're more strict. They're just kind of more like, they don't really care if you, a lot of them, at least what I've experienced, they don't really care if you get a good grade or not, because they're getting paid either way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not getting fired because you failed.
It's not like high school and shit.
Yeah, high school, I think
guidance counselors coming through like, the fuck you doing, nigga?
So I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like there's good things that come out of it, you know.
Well, they care to a certain extent, because if you're doing shitty, they just want to fucking kick you out.
Yeah, they tell you to withdraw that shit, but
because they don't want like bad students representing the school and shit like that. Yeah, that's all they give a fuck about.
In college, you meet people if you're truly interested in, like, I know people who went to school for visual arts and stuff like that because they truly like art and stuff like that's cool. You know, you learn how to interpret art and use different systems. You know, like that you might not have known before, which is cool. And then you surround yourself with people who have the same interests as you. Yeah, like I think that's a good thing. Like there's so many good things associated with school, but I feel like it outweighs the personal negative effects, because so many people live with regret, and a lot of those people did, like, you know, they went to school, like they graduated, and now they're like, fuck, I don't want to go back and get a degree, so I'm just going to deal with the degree I got. Or I don't want to go, you know, they don't want to put what they've done, they don't like what they've done, they don't want it to go to waste. Yeah. And I feel like I can just easily be avoided by just waiting, not listening to everyone saying figure, like, by 20, you know, 21, 22, 23, you know, figure it out. Like, I feel like if people can just neglect that voice and just, you know, like, barricade it into, like, a different like place, like, you'll truly figure it out.
You're just not one way to fucking do shit.
Yeah.
That's kind of how people always try to make things seem. You don't need to get education from going to school. I could go to a fucking library every day, pick up a book, and fucking learn that way too. Yeah. If I'm able to, you know, be self-taught, why the fuck can I get an education that way and shit?
Yeah, I feel like education is so like, it gets confused with knowledge, because I think there's a two totally different. Someone can graduate school, but they could be like literally stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they have no like people.
They have no knowledge, no needed
common
skills. Yeah,
shit.
like, yeah, you can do an equation, motherfucker, but if I put me and you in a situation of pure struggle that doesn't involve reading what you learn in a book, who's gonna last, you know? Because at the end, like, in this world, it's survival of, like, the fittest. Not like physically fit, but, you know, it's just a survival game.
Yeah.
And, you know, you decide if you're gonna survive by living someone else's guidelines, or you're gonna survive by doing your own. So, I don't know. Even my mom said, she said I don't need school. She said I just have to do something.
Yeah.
I'm just going to school just to pass time, I guess. Pass time. And I like when my classes I'm interested, except statistics, 'cause that's a general requirement. That shit has me fried up all the time. But like I like I'm studying psychology. I like it, but you know, I like this more. You know, that's why, you know, I feel like you can also do balance. Like, you can go to school if they're like, you know, if your parents are like, oh, you're getting kicked out if you don't go to school. Yeah, fuck it. I guess go to school, but still do what you're passionate about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you have the choice, at least, you know, do what the fuck you want with that choice.
Like, school, don't get me wrong, it's a privilege, because a lot of people in third world countries, you know, a lot of people like that, you know, moved here from different countries, immigrants, they wish they had school, and I mean, that's based on how their circumstances are, but like, you know, they see it, that's how their view of it. You go to school, you're successful, which isn't necessarily wrong, but it's definitely not true.
Yeah.
But, like, at the end of the day, yo, like, whatever you end up doing in your life, I truly hope that you are happy. You know, I'm rooting for you. You know, straight to the point, we are rooting for you.
Definitely.
Us going against school isn't necessarily, like, we're trying to bash you. It's just, we're all about happiness. And I feel like if what you're doing isn't going to create happiness, then you're just going to live a life of misery. And that's just so counterproductive. So, that's my say on it. This is Straight to the Point Podcast, episode 5. As always, Young Cupid, love.
Kane. We out this bitch.